Any idea if the cost of the drink package will go down cruising in July on Oasis? Doesn't matter. You're saying, well, what are you talking about, Matt? Of course it matters. It's my money. I want it to go down. Well, it doesn't matter. And what I mean by that is if you know you want the drink package, book it now, lock in the price. If there is a better price, you can always cancel and rebook the package. It's really easy to do so via the Royal Caribbean website. So book it now. If there's a better price, you can always cancel and rebook it. But if you say, well, why don't I just wait, Matt? Maybe it'll go down, then I'll book it then. But sometimes the price goes up. Book it now, lock in the price. You're guarded against a price increase, but are still able to take advantage of a price decrease. How does the unlimited dining package work? Basically, you buy the package before the cruise, then you get on board the cruise. You can't make reservations in advance, before the cruise, that is. But once you get on board, make all the reservations, and then it provides, your cover charge or a stipend, depending on the type of restaurant it is, for you to use there. So it can be a great value, in fact, quite frankly. Love the unlimited dining package. Just did the unlimited dining package last week on Odyssey of the Seas, and it was a home run. What would I recommend to do in Cozumel, Costa Maya? Well, Costa Maya is easy. Costa Maya, I always recommend going to Maya Chan. We're going back there in December, so I'm practicing what I preach here. For Cozumel, there's a lot of cool things. It really depends on what you want to do. I love Cozumel because there's a lot of variety. So if you want to do another beach day, Nachi Kokum is a great choice. NACHICOCOM, Nachi Kokum. That's a date. It's all inclusive. It's like $50 something per person per day, and it's as advertised. It's a beach day. There's a pool, and it's there. You can also do a lot of other things though, other than just hang out at the beach and drink. You can go downtown. There's shopping. There's restaurants. There are Mayan ruins both on the island of Cozumel as well as on the mainland in Tulum. There's ecological tours you can do. There's all sorts of things, cooking demonstrations. The nice thing about Cozumel is there's a lot to do. So I don't want to I hate to tell you, Eduardo, you should just go to a beach day. I mean, that is a good thing to do, and I do like going to the beach, and more often than not, we end up there. But I don't want you to overlook the other things you can do in Cozumel because they are really, really nice. Will prices of Wonder go down after Icon comes out? So the prices generally go down in Wu-Tang. It's not to say that the second Icon shows up, prices for other ships drop X% or something like that. It's an overall trend, right? You can see this Wu-Tang when you look just at older ships, on average, and this is a generalization, but on average, the price for, Wonder of the Seas is going to cost you more than Allure of the Seas, which is going to cost you more than Freedom of the Seas, which is going to cost you more than Mariner of the Seas, which is going to cost you more than Brilliance of the Seas, which is going to cost you more than Vision of the Seas, right? Why? Age. That is there's other factors. I don't want to make it seem it's just that, but the age of a ship really plays a major role in that. But that isn't to say when Icon shows up that it's automatically it drops. It's a gradual thing. But as a ship becomes older, yes, the price does go down there. So there's some truth to what you're saying. Yes, it's just not. I don't want to be not necessarily an A to B. It's not like if this then that kind of situation. It's more of a general over time scenario right there. 6 days to Allure. You know how accessible the Allure of the Seas is. Very accessible. Now, number one, I'm not in a wheelchair. I don't require accessible options for myself, so it's hard for me to tell you with any kind of personal experience, obviously, because I don't have any. But from friends and family that I've talked to, whom have relied on accessibility on a cruise ship, whether it's they're wheelchair bound, whether they're using a scooter or something like that, they all reported Royal Caribbean is very, very, very good on the ship. The ports you visit can be a different story, right? But on board the ship, you should have really no problems at all. You may already know this, JJ, but the other thing is make sure if you need a wheelchair, you bring it with you. Royal Caribbean will not provide one for you. How do you sign up for casino rewards? And is it tied to your SeaPass card? It kind of is tied. It's tied to your account more than your SeaPass card per se. But basically, as soon as you start gambling, your account is there. What you can do, here's the easiest thing to do, Dave and Sherry. When you get on board the ship, go look for the casino host. There's a desk in the casino where you can go to and speak to the casino host, who can then make sure your account is all ready to go. I never actually went there the first time. I was like, hey, I've never gambled before. I'd like to set up an account. You just basically, every time you gamble, you use your SeaPass card and put it against the machine or give it to the dealer, and that associates it right off the bat. And that relies on your back end information. So the same information you gave to Royal Caribbean, when you booked your cruise, Dave and Sherry, you're from this town and this state, right? That information is still used by Casino Royale. But you can always, it's a good idea to go speak to the casino host on board, and they can definitely help you out with that. And they have regular hours. So if you get there and they're not there, they'll have a little placard right on their desk saying what time they will be there to go meet them. When are the next deployments and what are they for? Right now, there's only one deployment coming up, Javon, that we know of at the current state. We've done ones for Alaska and Hawaii and some Europe ones. The only other one they've got that we know about next week, they're gonna announce year-round summer Caribbean, and then beyond that, Javon, I expect we'll have to wait till the spring for that. So, why are there changes? They're just going to Bayonne in the coming year. They just changed it up like all ports, Jamie. The itineraries, no ship remains there forever, and Royal Caribbean makes decisions on their deployments based on a number of factors that neither you or I have access to. But I think a lot of it has to do quite simply with where it's a bit of a game of musical chairs, right? We need ship A to be here, ship B to here, ship C over here. Okay, that leaves us all these other ships. So they kind of fit the puzzle, the market, what kind of ships to do better in this market versus that market, a variety of other factors that are out there. So, in short, that's a very long way of me telling you I don't have any idea specifically as to the reason, but it's not uncommon. It's actually very common, in fact, for ships to move around. It's less common for them to stay put for quite a while there. We're going on Anthem in 59 days. What's a good thing to do in Puerto Rico? We don't dock till 3 p.m. Just walk around Puerto Rico. San Juan is one of the few places that I do recommend you don't need a tour. Walk off the ship and explore Old San Juan. Old San Juan is built on a hill, Lauren. So basically, when you walk off the ship, just start walking around and exploring. If you ever get lost, if you're like Matt, or I'm not there, I can't help you, but family, I have no idea where we are. Just start walking downhill. When you get to the bottom of the hill, that's where the cruise ship is. You can't get lost. I mean, maybe you can, but it's unlikely for you to get lost. But just explore, walk around, go to the forts, have dinner in town. It's really, really nice. Was able to do Royal Up at a very reasonable price since we now have access to Suite Kitchen. Should we use that as the main dining room? Your choice, Larry. There's reasons to do it and not. Number one, there's a different menu. Number two, the Coastal Kitchen, the experience is a little bit different than main dining room. A lot of people who do suites a lot really love Coastal Kitchen for that reason. So I would do this, Larry. I would maybe try it out for at least maybe the first couple nights, and if you don't love it, go back to the main dining room. That'd be my recommendation. Can you get away with getting on the ship early before your boarding time anymore? This is firmly a your mileage may vary situation. Generally speaking, they do really want you to come in on the boarding time that you want. Camp. Okay, I got your name wrong. Camp and Campbell's. Now, have there been people who have gotten there earlier and been able to board earlier? Yes. Can I promise you that will happen to you? No. No one can. It's kind of you're rolling the dice, and you may end up standing around in a line outside for a while instead of maybe sitting in your comfortable hotel room. That's a possibility. But basically, they are still very adamant about you coming in on your exact time. They will say you'll get like a text message, an email, and a bunch of other reminders come in on your time there to do that. So, what's your favorite thing to do on Harmony of the Seas? Ooh, I love the shows on board, Liz. So there's a number of shows on board in the main theater, in the aqua theater, in the ice skating rink. See them all, even if they sound really weird to you and you have no idea what it's about. You would never want to do that on your own. Number one, it's included with your cruise fare, so no additional cost. Number two, it's going to be a lot better than it sounds. So definitely try it out. Definitely a cool thing. How do gratuities work? So I'm going to assume you're not a resident of Australia or New Zealand because their gratuities are baked into your cruise costs. If you're an American, a Canadian, a Brit, I think, this is how it works. Basically, you have two choices. If you do nothing, if you just sit on your hands and you just do nothing else, then the gratuity, every day of your cruise, you'll be assessed an automatic gratuity. Basically, it's like Royal Caribbean charges it to your account. You're charged per person per day, every day of your cruise. It's automatic, nothing to do, no weird, awkward conversations with your stateroom attendant like, oh, here's some money. It always sounds like a drug deal before. Now it's way easier. Automatic, you don't have to do anything. That's option number one. Option number two is you proactively contact your travel agent, or if you booked with Royal Caribbean, then you call Royal Caribbean and you prepay gratuities, which pays them now instead of on board your cruise. And that way you don't have that bill later on. And that covers your stateroom attendant. That covers your dining room staff. Going on Wonder of the Seas, January 7th, to bring my 2-year-old for his first cruise ever. Can you talk more about Adventure Ocean? Can we bring him there anytime we want and pay, or is there time slots and pick on day one? Good question. So your 2-year-old will be in the nursery, and the answer is you need to make reservations. The good news is the nursery is open pretty much most of the day and into the evening. With the nursery, day one, when you get to the cruise ship, you're going to want to go there to register your child. There's an open registration period. This is the best time to go. You can also make reservations. Usually what happens, Theodore, is on the first day, they will limit you to the amount of hours you can book. It depends on your cruise, but it could be number of hours, number of days, but they'll limit you. So that way, basically, people like me can't go in there and book up all the reservations in advance. But after a certain amount of time, like usually like day 2 or 3, then they open up the reservations for everybody else. But basically, it's per hour. It's like a babysitter, but it's per hour per kid. Drop them off, pick them up. Reservations are required. You can though, if you're like, if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and the nursery is open, give them a call. Be like, hey, I don't have a reservation, but can I bring my kid up there? Sure, no problem at all. But they'll walk you through the whole process when you do the registration. The most important thing, day one, go there and sign them up. So that's the most important thing right there. Can you explain the new ultimate dining package changes for a la carte dining? Yeah, it's really easy, Catherine. Basically, you can only go to an a la carte restaurant like Playmakers once per day per person. That's it. That's the only change, Catherine. So if you go to Playmakers, which is the most common scenario, and you go there for lunch, you can't come back later on and use another $20 credit until the next day. That is per person per day. And by the way, Catherine, if you're on an Oasis of the Seas, which has Playmakers and Portside Barbecue, then you could go to Portside Barbecue and Playmakers in the same day. Just can't go back again later on. So, how fast do cruises on Harmony typically sell out? I'm wanting to go on during spring break, but I don't know the latest I should book it. Book it now. Cruises will sell out regularly. There isn't necessarily a timeline, but more importantly, the prices go up. So even if you waited until, February, and by February the price has, there's still cabins available. The price may be way more than it would have been today. You want to book as early as you can. We'll be live again next Monday right here on YouTube. So come and check us out next week. If I didn't answer your question or you have more questions, we're here to do that as well. Until then, have a great rest of your week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. That's important as well. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.